Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fabio Marques with Fabulous with Fabio, the talk show that shows how fabulous you are. I'm the president of the International Excellence Society. And also you can hear this interview later in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. I'm very excited today because we're going to talk to a very fabulous person, a person that is using his fabulous skills to do good, to protect companies, to protect organizations. I'm talking about the Hacker CISO, Mishaal Khan. Welcome, Mishaal. How are you today?
Hey, Fabio. Thanks. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm fabulous, man, and I'm very excited to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
My pleasure.
So, I would like for you to first introduce yourself to our audience, telling us, something about your journey, how you decided to become who you are today, or your purpose, your mission. Talk about you, your life, what happened to you until today.
Sure. I mean, long story short, from a very young age, I grew up around computers and technology because of my dad. He had a computer shop and he used to bring home computer parts and stuff. So we used to assemble them. So from a very young age, we knew how computers work, how technology works, how to put it together, how to break it, most importantly. And when I say break it, because that's the hacker mindset, which I didn't know at that time, quite early on. But then we started playing the early games that were there. They weren't built very well. So me and my brother used to kind of hack through the games, try to beat the levels, change the code a little bit to kind of skip a few levels. So that was fun. And then, we got exposed to the internet. The internet was in its infancy. We saw how to break websites, how to bypass certain things within a website, pay for this access. No, we can skip it and do something else. So it was never for malicious purposes, but we were always curious. We were extremely curious about technology. And then before we even went into university, me and my brother, we both knew what we were doing from a very young age. We're like, yep, I want to be a computer engineer or computer science. Those were the only fields that were available back then in the 90s. And yeah, we took those fields, and before you know it, I was like deep into it ahead of everyone else. And I realized there's not a lot of resources available for people like me. I had a lot of interest. I have a lot of motivation. And I was given the environment. I would say that was the biggest thing. And as I grew the skill better and better, essentially got termed as the hacker in the community. If there's a problem to solve, go ask Mishaal. He's the tech genius. He can, do this. And then eventually I found myself in a position where I was helping people because it was fun. People had problems. I was here to solve problems. And that made my career not seem like work anymore. It was more like, I have the skill set I'm using to help people. And, half of the time I was doing stuff to help like locate people. There's a stalker here, someone's bothering them, or this person got locked out of this account or something. It was more genuine help. And then the other half was, on the corporate side of things, helping companies, businesses getting paid for what I do. So that's how I kind of transitioned from, networking, IT to now hacking. And I'm like, people pay for breaking into stuff and telling them how to fix it. And I love doing it. Perfect time for a career.
No, that's super cool because, it's very rare that people find out what they would love to do for the rest of their lives early on. And you did that. So it's super, super, super cool. And at the same time, I want to highlight how difficult it is to stay up to date in this field, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was the guy, until I was 20, I was the tech guy. Everybody would come to me because I was working for IBM at that time, and I knew about computers. I put my first computer together back in 1990. So everybody was, oh, Fabio is the guy, right? But in a few years after that, when I left IBM and I started working for other companies, and I was not so connected anymore to IT, I lost it. I'm not that guy anymore. I understand it. I know how to use it, but I'm not a problem solver as you are. And this world is getting more and more difficult, right? In terms of technology, more and more complicated. And you for you to stay always up to date is super, super difficult. And it demands love and passion for your profession. So I commend you for that.
Absolutely.
And for helping people to defend themselves, for helping organizations to defend themselves from malicious hackers, because you're not a malicious hacker. You're not here to do bad, but a lot of people are, right? So we need people like you more than ever to protect us, to give us peace of mind, so we can do, perform our work without always being concerned about what's going on. So
Great.
If you could put in like a 3 or 4 values, right, that you have to, to perform what you do, to do what you do at your high level, what would be the 3 or 4 values that you always have as guidelines for you to remain in this excellence level?
Right. So as you alluded, this is a field that requires a lot of attention, continuously being up to date, and helping others, not being malicious. So the values that come out of this have to be genuine and ethical. You have to be ethical to start off with. Your heart needs to be pure. You cannot think of this as a job. How am I going to make money with helping people? You can't mix the two together. At least that's what goes on in my head when I'm doing stuff like this. When somebody asks me to help locate a stalker, or here's a missing person, please help locate it. They offer money for it. I'm like, no, this is not about that. This is ethics, passion. I need to do this because I love doing this first and foremost. Money will follow. So don't confuse the two. Don't run after money first and then develop your skills. No, develop your skills the best you can because you love the job. So that's one thing. The other thing that needs to kind of be with this is ego suppression. So this comes with a lot of knowledge. So every time I'm in a room someplace, people will always throw sentences at me. Oh, you're the smartest guy in the room. Thank God you're here. And they'll praise me a lot. But I cannot be affected by this. I have to actively suppress my ego, because if my ego blows up, everything falls apart after that. So it is a skill. You have to be conscious about it. So ego suppression, being ethical, and having that passion for technology. These are all drivers. Everything else is secondary. Making a business out of it, earning from it, being popular because of it, doing talks about it. Those all follow. If your core values are strong, everything else will you don't really have to work for them.
I love this, man. And let's highlight those 3 things, because I believe they apply to almost every profession, right? So nowadays, with so many things going on, if you don't love what you do, you're never going to reach the level of excellence you need to perform at a high level. So love what you do. This is super, super important, right? It cannot be just a job. It cannot be just something to make money, as you said. It has to be something you really love and you're passionate about, and you find purpose in every day when you start working. So first, number 1, I love that. Then ego suppression, I love that as well, because you're super right. If you let yourself go with all those praises and compliments and all nice things people tell us, you forgot to continue humble and learning. Evolution is the mother of excellence, right? When you stop evolving, you cannot produce excellence anymore. And to be always evolving, you need to stay humble. So no matter how many good things people tell us, we have to really, cool down. This is momentarily. What matters is what I'm doing, and if I'm doing it well. I like that a lot. And the third thing about being ethical and really, doing what is right, it's super, super important. We need more people like that. That's why I called you to the show. That's why I think you are fabulous, because you're super skilled, and at the same time super humble, and at the same time super ethical, and we need more people like that in the world. Great. Thank you so much for this 3 values, everybody. I hope everybody listening is taking notes, because they can really apply that to any profession and be very successful. And as you said, if you're doing the right thing ethically, and if you're doing with love and passion, everything else will happen naturally. You don't have to be chasing success. Success will come to you, because you're going to be like this magnet that will feel attracted to.
To add to that, there's too many people who are doing wrong, who are doing this unethically, who are the bad guys, who are the hackers. There's more of them than there are of us. So that's why I constantly promote this practice, saying there needs to be more of the good guys out there to have a fair chance of us defending against the bad guys. So, at a very high level, this is the core issue. A lot of people are getting into cybersecurity, because it has money. There's a lot of jobs in it. The unemployment rate is 0%. So don't get into it because of this. Like you said, I'll reiterate it. Get into it because you want to help people out, because you have the passion and you want to continuously grow, and then fit yourself into this fight against, the good and the bad. That's essentially what it's all about.
I wanna confess something to you. In 2006, I was giving my sales training courses, right, to my clients, and I almost gave up giving sales training courses because I knew that some of my students were using my sales techniques to sell shit to people, right, to sell bad stuff, to sell the wrong thing, and I almost quit. But one of my clients told me, Fabio, if you quit, you're going to give more space to the bad guys. Okay. If you are one of the few good guys, teaching selling techniques in a good way so people can use it ethically, please don't give up. There are fewer of us, the good guys, so we need to stay in the fight. We cannot run away. We have to stay in the fight because we have to compensate for all those people doing the wrong thing. Right. So
it's amazing because I get the same feedback. I do a lot of trainings for a field called open source intelligence. So basically hunting for people, for places, for objects, for items, basically going really deep into trying to find something. It's mostly people. But a lot of people tell me during training, don't you think some bad people are learning from you as well? If it's on YouTube or in your class, don't you vet them out? I'm like, I can only vet people out to a certain level. If they want to learn it, they're going to learn it. But, the bad guys already know this stuff. It's the good guys that don't know it. So I'm teaching them. If from that, a few of them are malicious in nature, so be it. At least the majority were good and they're going to use it to fight against them. So yeah, sure. There's always a risk that someone will misuse your techniques and your education and what you tell them. But I think the pros outweigh the cons.
Perfect. What is your vision, in terms of what you're doing? There's a purpose. You're trying to make the world a safer place, of course. What is your vision for the future? How do you see the world in 5 years from now? And how do you see your role and the impact you're going to have 5 years from now or even further?
I always consider myself as the guinea pig. A lot of people don't try things out. I want to be that person who tries, fails, tries again, so that I can show others that, look, it's okay to fail, because after failure comes success. And it's okay to throw yourself out there. It may be embarrassing to maybe do a talk about something. It may be embarrassing to have a new idea out there that nobody will listen to, or some alternate way of thinking. So when people usually call me to talk or train or to listen to me, they usually, say, we like how you say things, not just what you say, because everyone's saying the same thing. We need to defend. But how you say it is with few filters. And I'm like, I wasn't trained to be, to beat around the bush, as they say. I'm like, the message is here. It's direct. You're going to get hacked if you do this. You must do 1, 2, 3, or else I'm not here to help anymore. Don't waste my time. They're like, we like that direct message because there's no time left. There's few patience for the people nowadays. And the message needs to be all or nothing. So my vision here is to kind of get people out of their shells. People have a lot of potential. I get all these kids who are in a programming background. They're like, how do we become hackers? Our field is completely different. I'm like, no, take what you have and then grow it into a defense strategy. You may come from maybe 10 different fields of IT. All of them have a path to cybersecurity. And you can use what you have. You don't need to start from the bottom, and develop it to another level. And that's what I want to, give people, that vision, that hope, because there's not a lot of people who are doing this. They're running after, quick success, shortcuts. And I tell them there's no shortcuts to success. You have to put in the hours, you have to put in the effort. And I'm here to kind of be their coach and say, you can do it. Here's how you do it. Here's the techniques I took. So let's not waste your time. Take it this way. And all for free, without any thing for my own personal gain, because, Fabio, at the end of the day, we're all going to, go up there. We're all going to die, pass away, and leave behind a legacy. And it's unexpected. Life is too short and unexpected. So I want to leave behind some hope, some path to success for others, because the way things are moving fast in this world, I see if people like me don't do anything, it's heading down and south very fast.
I like to say that if you want to live longer than your lifetime, leave a legacy, right? So that's what you're doing. And I feel that, because I love doing that as well. Sharing what I know, helping other people. This is the only legit shortcut, right? It's learning from other people, learning from people that are more experienced, like from mentors, from coaches. There's no other shortcut for success. As you said, you have to put the work, you have to put on the hours, you have to put on the effort. But the only shortcut you have is when you learn from people that have gone through that path already, right? Other people who have experienced other things. So you and I, we can help people shortcut their learning curve by telling them the right direction to follow. But of course, they still have to put the hours, they still have to dedicate themselves to learning and growing and finding purpose in what they do.
And one of my frustrations as I was going through this journey, which kind of pushed me towards this vision, was people don't share their secrets, like their trade secrets. They'll write a book about it, they'll have a course about it. And I read many books in my field, many courses. And then there was one version for the students, and then one version for them on how they do things. And it was basically their trade secret, or call it whatever, but they never shared their secrets to their success. And that's where I got kind of frustrated. I'm like, I know the theory side, but how did you do this specifically? What are you charging clients? What does your proposals look like? What does your sales pitch look like? Oh, we can't tell you that. That's like our secret. If we tell you that, you'll start making money. This concept I did not like. So when I made it, quote unquote, I'm still making it. But when I came to that position where I'm like, okay, now I have my own business, I'm doing what what my goals were eventually. I'm like, let me share the process. I wrote about it. I blogged about it in every training. I'm like, yeah, here's all my documents. Here's how I price my stuff out to clients. Here's my secrets, my secret sauce. And that was my pull, basically. That's why people kind of came to me. They're like, we want to know your secret sauce. I'm like, here you go. I have no fear of someone taking my secrets or methods and then, misusing it or taking it to the next level. No, we're not in a competition with each other. There's enough pie for everyone in it. It's not like they're going to come and take my customers or my success. It's impossible. And I think that's what people fear, that someone's going to take a piece out of your success. No, there's enough success in the world that everyone can have their own piece. And that's what I believed in. And I said, okay, I'm going to be different than the rest. I'm going to be the one who doesn't cause some frustration towards the path of growth for others. And here it is. Here's all of it. No fear. And it's worked pretty well so far.
I'm going to tell you something, man. There are two reasons for people to keeping their secrets, right? One is what you said. Sometimes they just don't want to share what they know because they have this scarcity mentality. They think that if other people start doing what they do, there's not going to be enough for everybody. This is one reason. There's another reason. They're fake.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have real secrets to share. They're just faking it to see if they make it. So they fake to everybody. They pretend to be successful. They pretend to know what they're doing. They don't. So they don't have anything to share. That's why they don't share. So there are two main reasons I found out about people,
Absolutely
I've been interviewing people for 40 years now. Since I was 12, I started interviewing people.
Wow.
So I learned how to read people, the fake ones and the true ones. And all the fake ones, they have this resistance of sharing their secrets because they really don't have them.
Right.
And the other ones are because of the scarcity mindset. But that's all right. So I'm with you, man. We have to share. We have to share. If you want to change we have to share. If we have true success, we have to share. There's no fear. For me, fear has a different meaning. Fear for me means fabulous energy to achieve results. Fear, F-E-R, fabulous energy to achieve results. So let's use that energy to share what we know and to help other people grow. So no, the more people we help, the more good people we have in the world helping other people, right? So that's super cool. Listen, let's talk about communication now, terminology, right? Because in this area that you're working, I believe there's a lot of misunderstandings. So what is cybersecurity? What is a hacker? Is hacker always a bad thing? No, what kind of wording do you use to define what you do, to explain to your clients? I believe most of your clients, or I don't know, maybe some of your clients really understand everything that you're saying. Some of them you have to translate to simpler terms, right?
Right. Yeah, so it really depends who you're talking to. So if I'm talking to my kids, they like the term hacker. That's what they understand because they see cartoons with a hacker or a thief. And again, it has a negative meaning, the word hacker. So then I have to tell my kids, no, I'm the good hacker. I'm the good guy. I'm the guy who, puts the hacker in jail. So you got to simplify it for them. There's no other word, for kids essentially. And then when I speak to adults, which is like executives and CEOs and stuff, a lot of them have never heard the term ethical hacker. So, the industry came up with this anti-hacker term, which is the ethical hacker, the good guys. There are other terms like black hat hacker, that's the bad guy, white hat hacker, that's the good one. But again, those are not politically correct terms. Then there's adversary, which is the bad guy. And then there's adversary emulation, which is emulating the bad guy, the good guy. So there's so many terms out there, but I kind of stick to what's popular: hacker, ethical hacker, because everyone kind of understands what it is and it's kind of cool as well. And then I get their attention and then I have the opportunity to now explain what it is instead of starting with some boring term. And a lot of executives I've met who haven't dealt with cybersecurity teams have no idea that this field exists. Like still, like in this day and age, they're like, oh, so you like mimic the bad guys, but you're not the bad guys. Are you sure? Did you have a history of doing malicious? Like, were you in jail or something? Like, no, this is a field. This is a skill I use for defense. But in order to know defense, you need to know offense. You need to know what the bad guys are doing. If you don't know how they're hacking, how are you going to defend yourself? And that's my main message, that, yeah, we study what they do, but we don't do it. We do the inverse of that. We try to put defense strategies in place so that they're not successful. And these are simple things like, if a bad guy knows your password, well, we put multi-factor authentication in their path so that MFA is harder to bypass. They don't have your phone or something else that gets that 6-digit code. So when you explain it to them like this, they're like, yeah, these are simple terms, but now it gets more and more complicated because bad guys don't sleep. The hackers are going to continue hacking. And that's why it's a continuous field for us defenders as well to understand every new thing they do. Every time they're in the news, I go read it up on their technique. How did they manage to hack such a big organization? Oh, they used social engineering. Let me be a better social engineer than them. So I understand their process. Okay, now that I know it, now I know if I were to hack, here's how you would stop me. And this is my main message and main dialogue that I tell organizations that, yeah, I come in as a hacker, hire me as a hacker, let me hack your organization, but then also tell me how you could have stopped me. Because the bad guys are not going to tell you that. They're just going to hack, take your data out, maybe hold it for ransom, ask for some money. Me, I'm going to do the same thing, but then pause and say, now here's how you would stop me. Put these roadblocks in my place. Next time, when a real hacker comes, he won't be able to be successful. And that's essentially my job at that point.
That's amazing. And there's a video of you in YouTube that I would like you to later. You're going to tell everybody here how they can access to your website, your profile, so they can watch those things, because they're really, really good. And one thing that I saw that was really amazing is that people are using social engineering, as you said, right? So how people think, how they behave. If you call them on the phone, they're using voice clone. They're cloning voices of famous people and regular people to fool people when they call you, right? And it's super dangerous, and it's so important to know how to identify those things. as fast as you can, right? And how to put those roadblocks you mentioned to make it more difficult for the hackers to steal your information or to manipulate you in all ways. And as you said in one of the presentations that I watched, is the reputation is the main damage, right? Because if a major company has a leak, any kind of leakage, right? And for some reason, the hacker goes in and extracts all the data from their customers, and that hits the news, right? The entire population will be now afraid of dealing with that company, afraid of dealing with that organization, because, oh my God, I don't want my data to be leaked, right? Mm-hmm. So it's super important. It's crucial that organizations work with people like you to better understand how hackers could infiltrate their systems and how to build those roadblocks to really prevent that from happening. So
and I think you hit on a very important point, the reputation damage piece, because a lot of people who come into cybersecurity, they're very technical in nature. They'll understand the bits and bytes of how things work, but they won't understand the business side of things. You need to understand both, because that reputation damage piece is not a technical piece. It's a business process that's being disrupted. Your sales will be low. Your e-commerce website is down. You can't sell anymore, even for an hour. What's your hourly loss? Now I'm getting the CFO's attention, and the CFO is the one who will write the check for a cybersecurity budget. So unless you marry the two areas together, the technical and the business side of things, you're not going to be successful in promoting cybersecurity within an organization. And this is where I see a lot of people fail, and that's where I kind of guide them, because they're like, yeah, technically we're convinced, but they're like, should we spend the money to do it? From a business side, we're not really convinced. So, and this is where the role of a CISO comes in, a Chief Information Security Officer. And that person has the responsibility to promote cybersecurity to the business, not to the technical folks. But to promote it to the business, they must have a technical background to understand how stuff works, not to a very deep degree, but at least understand well enough to articulate how to defend. What do you need in terms of resources, money, budget, time? Some things take 2 minutes to implement. Some things take 6 months to put in place. A CISO needs to say, okay, let's prioritize. You need to do 50 things, but you're not going to do all of them at once. What are the top 10 things a company must do? So they need to articulate that to the business. So now suddenly all these tech guys who are really good at cybersecurity become useless because they can't communicate their message up above to the board. And that's where the role of a CISO comes in. And that's the role I play nowadays, having that technical background. And then, I had a gap on the business side. I kind of fulfilled that gap by learning that side of things. And now I'm in that advisory role to kind of really help.
That's what makes you unique, Mishaal, because you have this not only the technical background, but you have the business background now, and you have the social background. You understand how people think, how people behave, right? So it's way beyond being a technical nerd or a technical expert, right? And I'm sorry about nerd word here.
I take it as a compliment.
yeah, take it as a compliment.
It's a skill set.
People who do this kind of job in cybersecurity has to be very technical savvy, I know. But as you're saying, if we don't combine our technical expertise with our business expertise and our social expertise, you don't have the full package, right, to really prevent those attacks. So when we tell our audience here that you are a hacker CISO, right? Chief Information Security Officer, is really someone who understands the business side, the social side, and how to integrate that and protect the organization from technical attacks from hackers.
Right. And another skill that's really important to all of that is the skill of educating your audience, and educating based on who they are. If I'm giving a talk or speech to kindergarten kids about hacking, I'm going to focus on other things like games and social media. And if it's teenagers, or something else. But if it's executives, the focus is going to shift completely away from social media into something else, into business process. So knowing, what to say to which audience is a key skill. and then educating them about the dangers, not just scare tactics, not just saying, oh, you're going to get hacked and this will happen, it's so weak. Okay, what do we do about it? So it's not just fear mongering, but giving them the solutions to what you do. I say most of my job, 90% of what I do is awareness. I'm just spreading awareness. Like the video you saw about voice cloning, that's new because of AI. It's this voice cloning. Why are people falling victim to this? Because they're not aware that this is possible. Like some are, but believe me, most people are not aware that this is even possible. So my job now becomes, let's make people aware. And then defense strategies will come in place automatically. Once you know this is possible, you're not going to be like, this was impossible. Okay, I have a feeling this may be fake because I saw this video or because somebody told me this thing. And this is an evolutionary process. In the past, it was phishing, which is still pretty dominant, but it was more in the past because people didn't think, who would be so malicious to fool me into clicking into this and then hacking me? No, people are evil. And I try to play that evil role, like a role play, to educate people. So I say this field is all about education and awareness.
I'm going to challenge you now. I'm going to give you 3 target audiences, and I'm going to challenge you to give them a key message. Okay, that's about 1 minute. So the first is the easiest for you, is the organization, the corporate world. Okay, so let's say you are talking to a corporate audience and you have 1 minute to give them a key message about, what you want them to know to be safer, to protect themselves, whatever. Okay. And then I'm going to give you other target audience. Let's start with this one. Improvisation. Go. 1 minute.
Yeah, for large organizations, you don't need to start from scratch. There are frameworks and guidelines out there that will provide a roadmap for you within cybersecurity. Follow what we call the low-hanging fruit, get the top 10 out of the way, and you are probably 80 to 90% more secure than where you start off with spending minimum budget, minimum time, and everything's vetted already. So you'll find plenty of resources to make your organization more secure against the bad guys.
Okay, so you have 30 seconds. What else? Examples.
Examples, there's stuff like phishing prevention, endpoint detection, put more layers and layers and layers upon security, multi-factor authentication, train your employees. Each layer will require some time, but as you implement it, it's a journey. You're not going to do it in 1 or 2 months, but do it in 9 months, 12 months, have a plan in place, and then follow the plan. It's basically a roadmap planning at that point.
Perfect. 1 minute. Perfect. That was target audience number 1. Number 2 now, regular people, citizens. Okay, regular people. Well, 1 minute, what would you say to those consumers, citizens of the world, so they could be more aware of what's going on and protect themselves? Go.
Yeah, you may not care about cybersecurity or privacy of your data at this point, but imagine a point where you suddenly have money, you win the lottery, now you become a target of the bad guys, or you're in the news for something, or you bump your car into someone and it's a hit and run. Somebody finds your license plate, now they've looked you up online because you weren't that private, your information wasn't secure, now they reach your house, they throw a stone at your house or something, they dox you, they put your information online, your social security now is published online, your family members' information is online, they start calling you, messaging you, emailing you, they make your life a living hell. Why? Because you didn't take basic security precautions by protecting your accounts, not spreading your information where it shouldn't be. So let's do preventative action now so that something like that doesn't happen in the future and you're not scrambling to get professional help at that point, because once the cat is out of the bag, it's really impossible to put it back in the bag. So let's take care of it today.
Perfect. Great message, man. And now I'm going to give you 2 more. Okay, now it's schools and universities. What would you say to them so we can build a better and safer world in the cyber era we are? Go.
Yeah, the school and university phase is very important because you're starting off your online presence. You're establishing your foothold on the internet with social media, with all the forms you fill out, with taxes, with other things. You haven't started paying those yet. So this is the perfect time to protect your data, to have a good grasp of where you put your data. Because if you don't control it right now, once you're in the work field, your data is going to be everywhere. It's going to be really hard to like pull it back and then to protect it. And this is the point where you can control how you spread your message, how you want yourself to be viewed on social media. Don't go out there and say anything and everything, because remember, whatever you say today will be on the internet forever. So think before you write, think before you put your video out there, think of the safety aspect, not today, in 10 years, how you will be viewed. So be proactive. You have the opportunity that we missed, essentially. So take advantage.
Perfect, perfect. And then, it comes with a with a question in my head. What about everything that is out there already? Okay. Now people can use AI to clone your voice, right? So all the videos that I have posted, all the, you and I as well, right? We have posted 100, I have like 400 videos out there, and just in YouTube, another 400 in Instagram. So I was always very careful what my content, I didn't say anything wrong, but people can use my voice and produce new content using my voice and make people believe I was saying those things, right? Oh my God, how can I protect me from that kind of thing?
Yeah, I've seen entire Joe Rogan videos, podcasts with AI saying something completely different he would never say. And I kind of believed it for a few seconds, but I'm like, nah, this is a little robotic. It sounds a little bit fake. Technology is getting better and better. It's fooling everyone. The thing is, technology is moving faster than we can control it today. Before it was more about your data, your social security number. It's out there. Everyone has it. Now it's about your voice and your video and deep fakes. There's so much out there. How much are we supposed to protect? So it's a difficult question to answer, because there has to be a balance between putting yourself out there because you're a public figure and then protecting yourself. So the balance I choose to create is the balance of safety, not necessarily security and privacy. There's a third aspect here, safety. So if my information is out there, which it is, my face is out there, my videos are out there, basic name, maybe a date of birth is leaked somewhere, my social security is definitely out there. But if none of this can affect my safety, I'm kind of okay with it. I'll try to scrub it. I'll try to take it down from the internet. This is a constant battle. But if I kind of lose in this battle, at least my safety is not harmed. What do I mean by safety? No one can come to my house and cause me or my family physical harm because my address is not out there. I'm careful when I'm making a video that my home is not revealed, like physical location where I am. Like I'm not going to make a video outside my home with my home address viewable to them, which a lot of TikTokers and Instagram people do. And then, stalkers come to their home. I'm like, do what you have to do. I'm not telling you to stop, but do it in a way that your safety is not compromised. Don't mention your street where you live in. Don't mention how many, the names of your kids, which school they go to, because now it's a different level of threat. So that's the balance public figures can keep. And depending on who you are and what you want to protect, your level of privacy, security, and safety will vary. So I say, fine, voice cloning, it can't really harm me that much. There are scenarios where it maybe can, but I can always come back to this and say, it wasn't me. There's videos of me saying this up front. But yeah, some things are out of your control. So you kind of put some safety nets and say, at least my family's safe. At least I'm safe. And at least I'm still alive. Reputation damage is something that's the bad guys will always be after.
All right. Good. And finally, the audience I was saving for the last piece. What would you say to the bad hackers out there? What is your message to them?
My message to them is more of us are coming after you. You better upskill yourselves because your days are numbered, and they're already seeing this. They're already seeing people like me hunting them down. And this is why I keep a certain lower profile when I'm doing these things. I educate, but they'll never know who's coming for them. We're training ourselves, defenders, to be better at our own privacy. So we call it operational security, or OPSEC, which means when we come after you, we hide ourselves when we come after you. A lot of bad guys don't. They attack and they reveal a lot of clues on who they were, like their IP address or where they came from or the language they're using or some image they'll post will tie it back to them. We're making it much more difficult for them, and they're feeling the pain right now. That's why there are now more organized crimes, and the little ones are failing a lot more. Now you need a lot of time, money, and other expenses. So we're making it expensive for you, and we're gonna keep growing and keep spreading the education and basically giving you a run for your money.
Okay, so the bad guys out there, please, you have a chance now to remove yourself from this bad mindset. Okay, change your life now, man. There's no future for you.
Not too late.
start doing the right thing. Okay,
it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I tell them, and you see time and time again from podcasts from bad guys who used to do bad and they went to jail, they come back. The story is always the same with these hackers. They will always get caught. It's just a matter of time and how motivated the other person is. Sometimes you'll see 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, whatever the time is, your times are numbered. So stop doing what you're doing today, because you will get caught. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So stop today and come on this side. It's way better on the other side.
Great message. All right. So only two more things to cover here. I would like to, for you to give instructions or guidelines for people wanting to grow in this area, right? If people are watching you, they're inspired by you, they would like to join you in this defense force, right, to make this world a safer place. What do they have to learn? Where can they search for education courses? Give us some insights about that.
I mean, if you want to learn and you have passion in this field, you've already identified that this is cool stuff, I want to defend, I want to be a hacker for good. There are an infinite amount of resources online. Everything is for free. So good news, you don't have to spend any money, like not in university, not in certifications, nothing, not now. You can start today going on YouTube, starting broad, cybersecurity, the basics, learn the foundational stuff. As you start broad, you'll realize there are so many different areas that I can specialize in. Maybe your interest is in programming. You can go on the coding side of cybersecurity. Maybe it's the business side. You have that skill to convince people and you have a lot of soft skills. Go on the managerial and business side of cybersecurity. Maybe it's marketing. You're great at portraying a message to others. Maybe it's project management of security. So whatever your field is, whether technical, business, projects, whatever, there's hundreds of fields within it. Start broad, start narrowing it down, and then find out. Because a lot of people come to me, they're like, we don't know what we're interested in. It's a broad field. We want to do everything within cybersecurity. I'm like, cool, start with everything, but you got to focus eventually. Otherwise, you'll be a jack of all trades and master of none. So I say be a jack of all trades and master of some. So focus on a few. And keep at it. There's support at this. If you find trouble anywhere, the cybersecurity community is very, very helpful. Reach out to me, reach out to anyone, reach out to the person whose videos you're watching for follow-up questions. Everyone is very responsive. They're very helpful in this field. And that's why they're doing it, the education piece, because they want to help. So don't be afraid. This is the biggest message. Don't be afraid to reach out. I have a lot of people reach out to me and I can sense the fear. They're like, oh, we don't want to waste your time. Can we can you get us some information on this? I'm like, yeah, let's hop on a Zoom call. And they're like surprised. They're like, oh, you have time for us? I'm like, yeah, I need to make time for you. This is our whole goal here. So don't be afraid.
Of course, you are busy, but we are always trying, right, to help people because we know the value of helping people become more aware of the things they need to become aware. So I learned that by interviewing so many successful people that they always try to make time, right? They make this extra effort to make time for good people, right?
I heard a saying that nobody has time for anything. If you need time, you need to make time.
Yeah, you make time. We make time to help people. So this is super cool. And if people want to reach out to you, maybe you can help them, save some time going to the right direction in this pursuit of becoming an expert, right? So if they want to reach out to you, what would be the website number, or
sure,
how would you like them to reach you?
Yeah, they can go to my website, mishaalkhan.com, which you can probably link in the show notes or whatever later.
Yeah, I'll do
So
that.
mishaalkhan.com, you can search me up, and I have most of my socials in there. And LinkedIn is probably the number one way to reach out to me. Just chat with me on LinkedIn. From there, we can take it, wherever on a Zoom call or whatnot. And I do a lot of this where I give a little bit of my time for students. Some call it mentoring. I really don't call it mentoring per se. That's a more formal process to this. I'll just have an informal conversation. It may be a one-off, maybe 4 or 5 conversations, whatever it takes to guide them to the right path. And it's just a guide. It's not like you have to do this. There's hundreds of ways to achieve the same goal. If you want to know my way, reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to listen to you first, where you want to be, what's your interest, what's your passion, and I'll give some small pieces of my advice. If you value those, then perfect. And that's basically the cycle of this. We're here to help each other out, and there are plenty of resources. My whole thing is there's no excuse not to be successful. The only excuse is you not taking advantage of the time you have, the resources you have, everything's right in front of you. Go grab it.
I want to ask you a final message to the audience, but I'll give them my version first. Then I would like you to add to that. I would like to say to everybody watching here, and then live or later, right? Because this is going to be in our channel forever, as long as YouTube channel exists. And we hope a lot of people can watch this, can be more aware of the threats, and of course, be aware of the opportunity. Okay, if you are smart, if you are intelligent, if you are a person that is able to do wonderful things, use those skills and that intelligence to do good. Okay, so we need more people doing good in this world, and we are here to help you, to guide you to do the right thing, to find the right path, so you can add value to society and add value to your own life. So here, talking to Mishaal Khan, we learned that you have the option to choose which path you want to follow in your life, right? You can be one of the good guys, always. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't feel like you don't deserve success, because, Mishaal, in my experience, most of the bad guys, they end up being a bad guy because they have low self-esteem. They don't believe in themselves enough to win following the rules of society.
Right.
They don't believe they're good enough to be successful without having to break the law or something like that, right? So I believe if everybody has good self-esteem, they believe in themselves, they know they're good enough, and they know if they're not good enough, they can continue learning to become good enough, that will be only good people on this planet. So we need to help people realize how good they are, and they have potential to win this life, to be successful without having to go through this marginal path in life. So that's my message to everybody watching. I would like you to add your comments on that, please.
Sure. I mean, to add to what you said, I'm trying to make it easier for the whole message that you gave. And I'm not just a person of words, I'm a person of actions. So reach out to me. I will definitely help in whatever capacity I can. And, from the perspective of action, I've created a cybersecurity business, so I know how things happen. If you want to know more about that journey and wherever you're stuck in, tell me. No filters. I'll tell you all my secrets, how to do it, because I want you to be successful. On the side of privacy, I've created a website called operationprivacy.com. All my trade secrets are in there, how to make yourself more private online. This is for all the students and all the individuals out there whose information is pretty much everywhere on websites right now. When I do investigations, those are the things I look at, and I put it all on operationprivacy.com, and it's like a DIY tutorial on how to remove it. People say, why do you put all your trade secrets there? We make money out of this. Well, 99% of the people will never be able to afford people like, others who do a business out of this. So this is for those people. So again, no more excuses to say I'm not private because I don't know how to. operationprivacy.com. If you want to know how to be a CISO, Same thing. You don't have to waste a lot of time. I actually have a book about it, The Phantom CISO. Go read it. It's a very cheap and short book about my journey on how I climbed the ladder from very technical to a hacker to a CISO. All my secrets are published there. So I'm trying my best to kind of give as much as I can out to the public. And I hope people do take advantage of this and reach out.
Perfect, perfect. So for you guys watching, we're gonna write down all the links that he has mentioned, all the websites, all the sources, right? So come back to this video later. So you're gonna see all the links here, so you can go directly to the source. I want to thank you, Mishaal, a lot, not only for the interview, but for what you have done for our society, for to help us be safer and to protect us from these malicious people that, if they're watching this, maybe they're coming to their senses, they're becoming more aware that they're able to succeed without having to be the bad guy. And for everybody else here, there are already good people. Protect yourself, defend yourself, and learn how to do it in a more effective way by contacting Mishaal Khan, the expert, our fabulous guest today. Mishaal, once again, thank you so much. And it was an honor for me to have you in my show. And again, this is going to be not only in YouTube channel, Fabulous with Fabio, live stream, but also will be published in our podcast, Powerful Insights for Business, for those of you who like to listen while you're doing something else. Thank you so much, Mishaal, and talk to you soon.
Pleasure's mine. Thanks, Fabio.
All right.